George Hook.
News Talk 106 to 108.
All right, welcome back. Well, the Dáil Business Committee has been debating the issue of wearing emblems and slogans, and my next guest spoke at that meeting. It's Bríd Smith, People Before Profit TD. Deputy Smith, welcome to the programme.
Thanks, George.
You spoke obviously against any issue that might bring in rules on the wearing of emblem slogans, and that led on to dress code then. So what's your view?
Well, I wouldn't characterise it as a debate in the Business Committee. It was just something that rose as a mention in the minutes, and there was a few comments on it. And my view is that there's a lot of problems in the country. The world's gone to hell in a bike, as we can see. And we've got huge issues facing the country. I don't think that this is the biggest question for us. And it came up in the context of the 6 AAPBP deputies wearing the Repeal T-shirts. Yeah. And certainly that the Count Corla read out the standing order, which basically says that you cannot wear anything that's of a party political nature. It doesn't state that you can't wear anything that's of a campaigning nature. So, yeah, that's it.
But, I mean, I always think when you look at an argument, you kind of take it to its logical conclusion. I mean, this could be that in 10 years' time, we have situations, done stores better value, that if you have no limit on what people are wearing on their T-shirts, then keep Foxrock white, done stores better value, or whatever. They're all there on T-shirts. You're not worried?
I don't really get your point, George. Sorry.
What I'm saying is that if you don't have some kind of rules, then everybody can wear what the heck they like.
Well, I mean, generally speaking, people wear what they feel comfortable in, and people wear what they feel represents themselves better. Dress is a pretty
no, but that's dress code,
thing.
Which I'm going to get to. I'm talking about slogans.
Okay, on the slogans, repeal is not a slogan, it's a campaign and demand, and it's one that's hugely popular, so I wouldn't call it a slogan. But then people
although done stores better value is very popular.
Well, people do wear the Fáinne Or, and they do wear the Easter Lily and the poppy and green ribbon for mental health or red ribbon for International AIDS Day. I really don't have a problem with those things. They're all viable campaigns and viable things to remember. But if others have a problem with it, then let them raise it and we'll have the debate.
All right, but I thought the issue, and you might fill me in, I thought the issue of the 6 Repeal T-shirts was actually going to a committee, so it obviously isn't. Is that right?
No. Well, not to my knowledge. Unless something, and sometimes things do go to committees or go under the radar in my short experience that I haven't been aware of, but I don't think that that's correct. I think we've been alerted to it. Okay, what
about the issue, which you and I have had words before, about the issue of dress code? You don't believe you should have a dress code in Dáil?
Do you know, I was trying to remember this morning, and you're right, you and I did have words about this before.
Did, yeah.
And the first question that springs to my mind, George, is I'd love if you talk to me about equal pay for equal work, or the housing crisis that have 2,500 children sleeping in hotel accommodation tonight, or the tax the tax on wealth that is forgone in this country that could be used for decent public services.
Well, just to stop you there.
Why are you talking to me about dress code again?
Okay, I've just sent a message to the producer now. Get Bríd Smith on the programme next week to talk to me about the 2,300 children who are homeless and the other topics you raised. Great. So you'll be on. But the only thing is, the only problem is I probably agree with you about homeless children.
But that's good, and we'll have loads to say about what to do about it.
Let's get back to the argument.
And one would be to tell the TDs to stop spending so much money on Armani suits and Chanel skirts and put it into
come on.
the Peter McVerry Trust, or
all right,
give it back to the
come
state.
on. did you at the same time say that the employees in Leinster House should dress appropriately?
Not at all. I don't know who's informing you. Some Fianna Fáil or some Fianna Gael?
I can just tell you, but just so to be sure, all my information does not come from Fianna Fáil. I'm a blue shirt, so I get all my inside track.
You get all your insights from Fianna Gael.
Yeah.
So it's probably...
Well, do you have a view? Do you have a view on the fact that the employees in Leinster House, in the shape of ushers, secretaries, whatever the heck, have to dress appropriately? That the maitre d' who serves you lunch in the restaurant or whatever has to dress, whereas you don't have to. I don't
really have a view on it, other than to say, if I was a working woman, and I have been a working woman that was in uniform in the past, because I was working in Dublin Bus, and I had to wear my uniform every day. I've often worked in restaurants and canteens, and I'd have to wear a white coat or an apron.
Yes.
And I found that convenient, because it keeps your good clothes good when you're doing a manual job. And the only reason that came up at the committee was because somebody on the committee, I can't recall who, said, oh, well, look at the ushers. They all dress immaculately in their uniforms, so why shouldn't we? And I said, well, their uniforms that's part of their terms and conditions of their jobs. I don't have a view on it, but if that's part of their job, that's part of their job. We're elected by people to do a job, to represent their needs, to talk about the issues I just mentioned to you, housing, repeal T.
But you are an employee, though. You are an employee.
Well, insofar as we get paid money.
Yes, you're employed by the people.
We're employed by the people, but the people have never stipulated a dress code to me. And if they did, if people came back and said, geez, Bríd, I'd love to see an Armani suit or a Chanel skirt and jacket, I'd say fair enough. Why do you want to see that? Does that make sense? Am I not better off being myself, but raising the issues that go to the heart of my community, like the underspend on housing, like the question of...
you'll talk to me about that next week. Don't be coming in ahead of schedule.
The question of equal pay. When will you have me on talking about that? That's what I'd like to know.
I'll have you on, but I tell you what I'll do, even better. I'll give you 15 minutes of national airtime on any topic you want to talk about. How's that?
Great.
Providing we have an argument. I'm not having you come in to have...
What do you disagree with me?
Well, I'm not having you come in with this cuddly conversation that we're having today, when I am totally opposed to the way...
Don't worry, George, I won't be cuddling you.
To the way you and your co-religionists, if I can use that word, dress in Dáil.
Who are you talking about, my What's wrong with the way I dress? I think I dress quite nice.
Oh, no, what I mean is that I believe that, like Mick Wallace is at one extreme in Dáil. Like, we all agree on that. There's no discussion. And presumably Enda's on the other extreme. Take as an example. Now, I think that if in the Dáil Éireann, which is the Parliament, then I believe there should be a dress code. Now, you're telling me there isn't, and that's for Dáil Éireann to decide.
There's no uniform. There's no, like, the ushers have a certain uniform.
Yes.
When you work on the buses, you have a uniform.
Yeah.
But there's no uniform for Dáil Éireann. No, unless you want us all to come in looking like Nazis, then, you know...
No, my father was Dublin Bussy. My father had the same job as you. My father was Dublin Bus, but, like, he wouldn't have been allowed to come in a T-shirt.
Well, you still wouldn't be allowed to come in a T-shirt in Dublin Bus. You have to wear your blue shirt.
Yeah, I see.
And your navy jumper.
Yeah.
But you're a manual worker and you're out there dealing with the public, and it's awful handy to have a uniform when you're doing those kind of jobs, because it keeps your nice Armani suit clean for when you go to the pub that night.
I'm not allowing you next week now, if we're going to have a row, to be on the phone to me from your couch at home. When you have to come in the studio next week and face your inquisitor.
Listen, I don't live in agricultural house beside Dáil Éireann. That's exactly where I'm speaking to you from, so I'm not on the couch at home. Thanks be to God I don't live here.
I'll talk to you next week.
I do have a life, George. I do have some kind of a life.
Deputy Smith, I'm talking to you next week. You're picking the topic and we're having a row.
Okay, Grant. What day? You have to let me know well in advance. I'm in big demand here, you know.
Thanks very much. The People Before Profit TD, much in demand, Bríd Smith. Now, if you're talking about much in demand, my next guest is Barry Kenny, talking travel.